right, Gyi. I'm looking forward to this. We had our amazing producer, Mr. Adam Lockwood, call in to Mr. Robinson's law firm at 6:20 in the evening, early evening, but not 2 in the morning kind of time frame. And we did that on purpose because we wanted to see what was going to happen, minimize the likelihood of an amazing experience. And this is what we heard.
Hello, thanks for calling Paul Robinson Law. How can I help you?
Hi. My brother got in a car accident a few days ago, and we're just kind of evaluating our options. He was injured pretty bad.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you.
Pause. Time out.
Stop right there.
All right.
Go ahead.
Observations. Observation number 1. Hey, the phone was answered. Hooray.
The phone was
answered after hours.
And reasonably quickly, okay?
Three rings. It's
3 rings
good.
and an answer. Okay, because sometimes you guys have these forwarding chains. You don't realize that those forwarding chains actually create a really long time before someone bothers to pick up. So good. And what was the other thing that I thought you were pausing for?
Yes, well, we just coming fresh off of CRISP, and disclaimer that Conrad and I are both investors in Capture Now, which is a CRISP venture, and Gary Falkowitz, who's also a investor and really a leader at Capture Now, and of course the ultimate expert on intake. He spoke at CRISP, and I took some notes. And one of the things that Gary talked about was the concept of CPR in 15. And what he meant is that you show compassion and proactive reassurance in the first 15 seconds on the call. So I heard compassion. I did not hear proactive reassurance. And proactive reassurance is the idea that you're in the right place. We handle these types of cases. And reassuring the caller that they have found they've landed in the right place.
And so there was compassion, but it was more the words and less the feel. By the way, we believe that this was probably a third-party answering service, which is fine. And I think what you're getting here, and you'll get this subjectively, but this is someone's job. They don't really know the law firm. And their level of compassion is bluntly pretty low. So she said the right words, but it wasn't with warmth, right? In the same way, like, I'm sorry you lost your keys or spilled your drink kind of
thing. All right, let's keep going.
So we wanted to just check in with our options. We saw one of your billboards and wanted to check in with y'all.
Okay.
Hey, I want to stop here too. Sorry. I mean, hate to break it so quickly, but this was a really interesting piece of information that Adam dropped, unsolicited, telling them how they heard about the firm. And I suspect that this was not captured, right? I don't know that, but that is certainly something that I would want captured. She doesn't go back and ever ask for it in her script, but letting you know where you found us, super, super valuable information.
Okay, so I know you're calling on behalf of your brother, but can you start by spelling your first and last name?
Yeah, my name is Adam Moreno, ADAM MORENO.
Okay, and can you provide the spelling of your brother's name?
Yeah, his first name is Taylor, TAYLOR.
Okay, and same last name, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your cell phone number?
919.
I think a really good intake here. She's filling out a form. There's no automated understanding of where the number is from. So a sophisticated technology and the right answer, or the right way to question the cell phone number, is, hey, I see you're calling from 287 blah blah blah. Is that a good phone number for you? And not, I'm not really making this from a customer service perspective. I'm making it from this is clearly an unsophisticated, unautomated, untied together intake system.
Okay, and you said this is regarding a car accident, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what state is this matter in?
North Carolina. You all are in North Carolina, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the date of the injury?
It was this past Tuesday, the 12th, November 12th.
Okay, and what injuries were sustained?
He got a pretty bad broken leg. Other minor bumps and bruises. He might have had a concussion, but yeah, broken leg. He's going to be unable to walk on it for a couple months.
Okay.
Now, I know that there are different filtering criteria that firms are going to use, but one of Gary's other points is this concept of 3 R's in 3 minutes. Now, I don't know how far we are. I don't know if we're at 3 minutes yet or not. We probably should check the timestamp. But Gary says, we're at 4:04. Thanks, Lockwood. So we're 4 minutes in now. So we're already past 3 R's in 3 minutes. And the 3 R's are retain, refer, or reject in the first 3 minutes. Now, look, I get that some firms are going to, and I think we're going to go in here about asking about treatment and severity of injuries and, county. And, so maybe there's an issue that the firm only wants to take in a specific count. And I get all that. But I'm with Gary. This to me right now is, I think if for most practices that you've done the timing question, you've done the injury question, and you've done that they're in the state and you've got contact information. To me, for optimum intake experience, you can make the decision right now. And if you're going to retain it, my next step would be retainer. If you're not, if you're like, hey, look, based on what we know now, we don't do, broken bone injury type things, you're either refer or reject right now. I think when you start and now we're going to stumble through like the county thing and, and again, I don't want to be hypercritical because I do understand that there's some filtering and that kind of stuff, but you start asking questions about counties, you've already got you've got the area code of the phone number they're calling from. I think we're going to get a little bit more detailed information on the location here, but I think you're going to have a hard time getting 3 hours in 3 minutes with this approach.
And I think there's 2 parts to this. One is there's basic data collection that's going on that does not need to happen right off the bat.
That's a more concise way of saying what I was trying to say.
But there's the other point. Your other point to this is they're doing a vetting process here, right? And yeah,
so Gary would say,
don't do the vetting. Sign and reject.
He would say, do you have right now? Is this a retain or a reject right now? Right. And again, I think, and I don't want to put words in Gary's mouth, but my interpretation of this is a personal injury case that's in your jurisdiction within the statute of limitations. Sign them up.
Sign them up, baby.
All right,
roll it.
And what county is this case in?
I'm not sure exactly. It happened off of I-87 to the east of Raleigh, right about like around the Wendell Falls area. I'm not sure what county that is.
Okay. You said what falls area?
Wendell Falls.
Cool. Can you spell that for me?
Yeah, Wendell.
Okay, that would be Wake County.
Okay.
Okay, would you happen to have the the accident report number?
I don't have it right here with me. I could give that to you later, though.
And do you know which party was at fault?
I believe it was the other person. It was a truck. It was a big truck. Just kind of drove him off the road.
All right, let's stop right there. That should be a trigger to get an attorney on the line right away.
Yeah, I think it's I don't even know that you needed an attorney. I would be like, sign this person up.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. So I think we should have already signed them up.
Yeah.
Given that we haven't, that this is now a bigger case, right?
Sure. Right.
I think that, let me rephrase that. This could be a reason to get an attorney on the line at this point in time, right? This is an escalation point.
Yeah, and this is exactly, and that's the point here is that, and this is one of Gary's points too, is that escalation is the difference maker. Escalation for these cases and again, we're empathetic to firms. We're empathetic to Paul's firm. He's I believe he communicated that it's a 2 lawyer operation. It's 6:30 at night. One solution to this is to have an on-call attorney, similar to like what a doctor's office would do, that there's always an attorney available during certain time windows. But yeah, to Conrad's point, this is a, truck runs him off the road. Now, again, it's a broken leg, so you can debate about the escalation level and yada, yada, yada. But that's the difference maker in a lot of these situations during intake, is that you're not getting somebody, it's pretty clear you've met most of the filtering criteria. Like, this is sign up and get an attorney to talk to them to actually do more of that service touch. And again, in all the conversations we talk about, automating all the things that you can automate, this part of the relationship is the crucial part that human beings should start to be intervening in to really deliver that maximum client experience, right?
So I want to continue with your point about escalation, because I wrote 7 quotes down during the last 2 days in Atlanta, and one of them was Gary Falkowitz talking about escalation. This is a tangent because it's not germane to this specific example, but it's a good tangent. Gary said, at intake, at the first sign of resistance, your job is to escalate, which presumes there was someone to escalate to. So there was no resistance here on Adam's part, or on our actor's part. There was no resistance, but the concept of escalate was really fascinating. And any one of you who has ever bought a car knows this, because as soon as you push back, your car salesman, and it's always a salesman, it's not always a salesman anymore, but it seems like the stereotypical car salesman, their job as soon as you're to escalate, oh, let me talk to my manager, let me get my manager, let me get someone for you. And that process of escalating keeps you around, it keeps you in the buying phase. And I thought that was interesting insight from Gary. First sign of resistance, your job is to escalate. So it's not just these kind of red flags or green flags. It is also, it's the green flags and the red flags, right? That should trigger something to be different.
I think the other big part of this is like we're this far in, and there's still no proactive reassurance. There's still no, oh, this is what we do. You are in the right spot. You have you don't search no further. This is what we've been doing for the last 30 years. You're in the right spot. I mean, again, I'm making things up here, but you're in the right spot. You find because again, this is the person's brother. The person's brother's in a car accident. It's like, reassure them that they're doing the right thing here.
And I think this is Gyi, you and I have talked about this before. You can get good service. You can get a B out of third-party answering parties. Like, you just can, because it's harder to do that part if you are a third party.
You say that, but I got to tell you, like, I agree with you that there are, full-time dedicated expert. I mean, look, bottom line is an intake expert person is probably going to do this best. However, I would say between that person and there are a lot of degrees in the virtual receptionist with proper scripting, proper instruction, proper coaching. And so I think that we see these conversations all the time. People talk about the varying quality in reception services. And, some of it's just going to be the person who actually ends up answering the call at the service. But you can do a lot of good work working with the reception service, providing scripting and providing your process. Whereas here, I think there's a lot of room for improvement on that end of it, on the coaching end.
Don't disagree.
Okay.
Okay. And has he sought medical treatment?
Yeah, he went to the hospital that day.
Okay. And will he be seeking further medical treatment?
Yeah, like I said, the broken leg, it was pretty severe. He can't put any weight on it for a couple months, and then, it'll be follow-up for that too. So he may have other things. So I imagine that he will be. Yes.
And again, this is the example where it's like we know that what the firm's trying to do here, right? They want to build up the treatment and all that kind of stuff because it's going to give them more insight when they go to review the case. But that all goes in the research bucket, and the research bucket should be happening after retain.
Okay, and what is the best time to call you back?
Kind of daytime. I'm pretty free tomorrow.
Okay.
And again, call you back for what?
Yeah.
Call you back to do what?
Let's stop for a moment here. So this to me was the worst part of this, and it's where the third-party answering services can be much better. When's the best time to call you back? The best time to call you back is at a time that we're going to agree on right now. I'm going to get on your calendar and I'm going to introduce you to Mary Smith because she is the best person and she's available right away.
Proactive reassurance.
It's all of those components, but I don't think we've talked about this enough. I want your third-party answering services to have the ability, both from a technology perspective as well as an authorization perspective, to book that person with you, right? To get on your calendar, because that stops the shop. That stops Adam from calling the next person on Google. And that like they're gonna call you back. I mean, it's like taking a voicemail, right?
Right. And again, if you're using Gary's benchmarks here, we are so far deep into this conversation. There's been one compassionate word spoken, 0 proactive reassurance, 0 escalation opportunity, and 0 retain, refer, reject.
Okay, thanks so much for this information, and I'll get this over to the team right away for review.
Okay. Can you kind of maybe give me a little of an idea of what to expect? We've never had anything like this happen.
Oh, there you go. So, Adam.
So I'm actually a receptionist, and I don't have like that type of information. I kind of just take the details to forward over to the appropriate person who could assist further.
Okay, great. So maybe when they call us back tomorrow, we'll have a better idea.
Yeah, and you'll most likely probably be offered a consultation where you can really get all your concerns and questions addressed.
So there you go. Now, she actually did respond to what the next step in the process is after being coaxed. She probably thought it was already implied by the callback, but again, if you're going to do the callback thing, which we're not strongly recommending here, you should say the callback is, you can expect a callback. You'll receive a free consultation. The lawyer will go through blah, blah, set the expectations about what's going to happen in the next step. She's kind of doing that, but she could have been much more proactive about it. In fact, Adam had to ask.
So you said we're not recommending the callback. I want to be clear here. You should sign this person on the phone right now. Right. And you and I think Gary will agree with this. The next step is to get that consultation booked. So I like the callback, but there's a different agenda. The different agenda is to move the case forward, and I know when it is, and I know with whom I'm speaking. It's not to gather some information and secure the client.
Okay. All right. Very good. And this isn't going to cost us anything, right?
Again, I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
I want to say I don't, just don't hold my word just because I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe it's a free 30-minute phone consultation.
Okay. Great. That's good to know.
So that's something that's coachable, right? That you can put that right in the script.
And she's trying here. Like this.
She's trying. Yeah.
I feel to some extent we've just been bashing this poor lady. She's trying here. Like you can hear she's trying.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We come away from this, folks, and Paul's, assuming he listens to this, again, we're not saying this, we're not putting this on the virtual receptionist, right? This is a work with the receptionist to solve these issues. And again, have you ever shopped your own firm? Have you ever had this conversation before? Because there should be a whole testing period where you're like, all right, let's make some calls and see how this receptionist stuff's working out. And then you can nip those in the bud before you get to this, that's in play for real.
And I would say if you haven't spent time managing your third-party reception or your in-house reception, this is probably what the experience is like.
Oh yeah, 100. And in fact, many times, again, remember, like because again, we're being constructively critical of the situation. 70% of the time, no one's answering or 50% of the time, whatever the Legal Trends report said, they're not even answering the phone. They're not answering the phone. And if they are answering it, a lot of times, some of those calls are going to voicemail still because the lawyers are handling themselves. And I'll be honest with you, there are plenty of lawyers who are answering their own phones. They're not doing much better than this.
Or worse. They're probably worse in aggregate.
Right. And I'll tell you what, there's certainly plenty of examples where even though we've been constructively critical, that the empathy level's even lower, right? There's attitude on the phone with some of these lawyers that are answering the phone.
Okay, thank you. We very much appreciate it. Yeah, we'll look forward to getting a call back.
Okay, thanks so much for calling in.
All right, thanks. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
So that's an 8-minute phone call to essentially take a message. 8 minutes to take a message that will call you back. That's a lot of opportunity for improvement.
Do you think they're paying by the minute?
Ha! Uh-oh.
I mean, but seriously, like, these are the things that you think about. How people
and right
are
now,
charging.
Guess what Adam's doing right now
It's
after
relevant.
this call? Adam's calling the next firm that he finds from doing a search on Google. Okay, so we had an 8-minute phone call to basically take some information down. Now, we do know that there was some follow-up. So, Conrad, what was the follow-up that Adam got?
So there was a text, which I do not believe was automated. I believe that came in manually. And there were 2 voicemails. Let's listen to one of those voicemails.
Yes, hi. This is a message for Adam Moreno. I'm calling from Paul Robinson Law. We received your message about your brother's accident, and we were calling to get some additional information. Please give us a call back. Our number is 919-438-0065. Once again, the number to our office is 919-438-0065. And we're calling to see if we could be of assistance. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, so hey, moment of appreciation. There was a follow-up text, follow-up call. That's something.
Okay.
But
I have 2 concerns. Number 1, he starts with, we want to get additional information. I imagine the poor Adam's like, for the love of God, what else do they want to know? Is he left-handed or right-handed? Does he like coffee or decaf? Like what more do we need to learn about here? But then he goes to see if we can be of any assistance. Like, start with that. And this is someone in the firm, like, start with, we're here to help. We want to make sure things are okay.
Where's the proactive reassurance? Hey,
thank you.
Hey, we're so sorry to hear about, this is the attorney calling from the firm. Again, we are
hold
sorry
on.
that you're...
So you just hit the other point.
Oh,
Say
sorry.
that again, because I think that was key. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would have again, I think at this stage for me, this is a retain escalation point. So, hey, this is attorney from the firm. We're so sorry that you're dealing with this. Fortunately, this is exactly the type of case that we take. And
we've done 7 trucking accidents this year.
Right. And we have the largest verdict in North Carolina for trucking accidents. And we're calling to get the retainers so we can get started helping you with your case.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We should have signed you up on the first call, but we failed to do so. So now we're calling to sign you up so we can start putting your mind at ease. I know you got a lot on your mind right now. You're just in a car accident. Your brother's in the hospital. Let us take this off of your plate.
All right. But listen, in all fairness, Paul has a small firm.
Yep.
Right? He doesn't have a ton of time to dedicate to improving intake. He's
Right.
getting the phone answered. They're responding. It's not bad. It's just not.
It's certainly
Knock
not the
your
worst
socks
that we've
off.
seen. What
That's
kind of
also
letter
true.
grade would you give him? And
This
again,
is-
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Be
This
hard.
is
You want to be harsh.
This is at best. This is at best a C.
Yeah, I was like C minus. You know,
I'm
we've. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're grading on a curve, it's
Okay.
a C. If you're actually grading for like, was this a great job? It's a D.
Yeah, and again, I think it's fair to acknowledge that like you and I, this is what we do,
Right.
and we're trying to optimize for the maximum experience. We've heard worse. We've certainly heard worse, but we just recognize that there's so much opportunity for improvement. And again,
right.
the thing that keeps hitting me in the back of my mind as I'm like, we're having this conversation is that so many firms, they're like, okay, I hear you. I need to have 24/7 intake. So what do? They call up the receptionist service, they sign up, they get the forwarding number to work, and that's about it. And that's kind of the point of all of this is that you've really got to be mindful. And it's true in the automations too, because so many times we see these automations, they're like, I listened to Conrad and Gyi, I got the CRM, I set up the autoresponder. But you've really got to test it and experience it, because remember, you're optimizing for experience. It's not a checklist to say I have intake, check, done. It's like, no, there's a whole different variation between A intake and C minus D intake.
And that is proactive management of intake. It's getting data on intake. What's your phone call answer rate? What's your retain rate? How quickly are you getting back to people? What is the sales velocity? All those elements. If you have enough data to even talk about, and it's never done, right? This is a constant. It is a constant managerial thing that needs to happen.
That's right.
Thanks for listening. I know I part of me was a little loath to mystery shop someone who asked us for advice, because I thought it might come across as harsh, but I think this is where a lot of you are. And I suspect most of you who are listening today have spent more time listening to our podcasts than your own intake recordings.
Boom, boom. No, and
Ba-dum-boom.
to back that up, I guarantee you there are some lawyers that are listening to this right now and they're being like, oh, that's why I answer all the calls. That's why I handle intake myself. And like, you totally missed the point. Until next time.
Yes. The problem is that lawyer stopped listening or skipped past this episode.
Yeah, they don't even listen to it.
That's the problem.
Right. But, again, empathy, we have a lot of empathy for the situation. The whole purpose of this is to try to help everybody see to improve. This isn't to bash receptionists or to bash Paul. And we're grateful that he reached out and volunteered to have us do a teardown. And so again, this comes from a place of let's all get better together, not a place of negativity. And with that, we must say thank you, dear listeners, for checking into this episode. If you just landed here, please do subscribe, get involved in the conversation. And if you're brave, we'd love to hear from you, because we love topic suggestions and volunteers. And a big thank you to Paul again for volunteering to have us put his firm under scrutiny. Till next time, Gyi and Conrad for Lunch Hour Legal Marketing.
Money makes a it makes a world go round. Money makes a world go round. Yeah, money make a world go round. Money makes a world go round. Yeah, money make a world go round. Money makes a world go round. Yeah, money make a world go round.